been 10 minutes. We can immediately kind of run back into this. Am I the only one that doesn't hear Pancake? Is it just really quiet?
I think we killed Pancake.
Yeah, I don't hear me.
Did someone mute Pancake?
Yeah. Well, I have him set up on some kind of an ambiance track, so let's try this. I'll just put on that same song you guys listened to for the last 4 hours of your life.
It could be a broken MP3. I don't know. We'll see how, if I can ever figure out jukeboxing in Roll20, so that everybody can just make track requests. But
yeah, I've had some ideas about shit like that. Let me just a sec here.
Like just typing in a title.
Well, yeah, I can set up
being able
playlists.
to queue up the next thing that would play.
Yeah, there are bots that do that.
Yeah.
We're a pretty fancy team. We're we're silver medalists in tabletop streaming.
That feels generous. I feel like we got invited to nationals, but we didn't make it. Like our flight got delayed. Oh yeah, I'm not getting anything from Pancake. Weird. Well, that'll be a bummer. Either way, we should get started.
Well, Sham gave me a compliment. Yui also can do it, but she has different commands, so...
Yeah, it's fine. Adios, Pancake. Okay. So, the fight is over. You all kind of find yourselves around these corpses. There are no corpses for the will-o-wisps, but these two creatures are dead. Bivar's fog cloud fades. He comes out and kind of inspects the damage. You see a lot of the lizard folk are not as willing to leave the caravan with this kind of a thing. He double checks to make sure everything is okay, and then he offers for his people to conduct watch for the rest of the night, since you guys just did the combat. So I will say that the rest of your evening concludes uneventfully. So we will go back to our default splash screen for these guys in the swamp.
So we get a heal up, right?
Yes, correct. You've all now experienced a full rest.
Give anyone a shield that wants to in the morning. 8 temp hit points.
That's 6 of us.
So I think that's the one that I gave you the custom.
Yeah, 6 people or all the player characters.
Yeah. So essentially, because there are 8 of you, I was like, I don't want to exclude certain people because it would make somebody not want to take the feat. So everybody can be affected, or you can affect PCs and NPCs up to 6.
You said 8?
Yes.
I believe it is 8.
Thank you.
So we all have shield? Did I follow that right?
I will let Ralph explain it. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's it's the shield is 8 temporary hit points, until you take a long rest or get temporary hit points through something else. It's the inspiring leader feat.
Yes. So everybody can mark down 8 temporary hit points. Temporary hit points do not stack. So if you have something else that gives you temp HP, take the higher value. Don't stack them. Perry, welcome back to initiative. Let me clear the tracker. All right. Good job, y'all. Fight was a little bit scary, but you made it. Morning comes, and you would know based on the previous days and what you had received in communication from the Morkendi that you should be relatively. You continue to pass through the swamp upon though, you know what, I should open it up. Did anybody want to do anything or say anything to anybody? I don't want to immediately kind of hand wave you away. I will hand wave you. You continue to pass through the swamp, as I said. The going is slow, the ground is wet. The roads aren't exactly ill-maintained, but it's more that they don't last very long. This place is quick to reclaim any land that has been taken away from it. You, for the first time on your final day, pass a group of Morkendi coming back in the opposite direction. There are a few guards armed with like swords and shields, but there are about 6 that just have scythes, and they basically just kind of walk down the side of the path, cutting up the vegetation as they go, kind of clearing the path for the way in front of you. Anybody that would be curious enough to ask Bivar, he explains that they maintain the roads for all of the swamp. Particularly, that's one of their jobs. So everything east of the castle to the sea is maintained by them. They send out patrols on a regular basis to clean up the roads. It serves 2 purposes. 1, the roads get a little bit easier, and 2, if you find the road gets easy until it doesn't, it lets you know there's probably danger because those guys are all dead. Okay. About midday, the thick vegetation gives away to the largest tree any of you has ever seen. As the okay, thanks, Pancake. As the basically thick vegetation of the swamp gives way to this clearing, you find yourselves in what is a small inland lake, essentially, and the only thing jutting out from it is this gigantic, massive tree. You see platform after platform, hut after hut that circle this massive tree from the waters of this small lake all the way up out of eye's reach. It easily stretches up and out of the canopy that envelops the rest of the area, so you can't even see the top of the tree from where you stand. Anybody close enough to Bivar kind of hears him croak, "The Tree of Dreams, Alanmir." The ground is hustle and bustle. There are folks moving cargo, trade goods in and out. There are total ev. Yes, Kashyyyk is very close to what you would, except swampy. There's another one of your bog boards, so that's what the creature's designed based off of. These creatures are moving back and forth in the swamp. Turtle are everywhere. Vol, you're a little bit surprised that the reception is not the same that you received in Quetzal. It is business as usual. Nobody gives a shit. You guys kind of come stumbling out of the swamp. It's been a hard couple of days. But there are 2 turtle guards that kind of stand towards the end of the path. They cross their spears as you get close, asking for some kind of identification. They are speaking in Aquan, so only Vol and Bivar would understand.
Do you recognize
nod
them?
and smile.
I assume I don't recognize them, or I don't know if Bivar would have had some kind of a symbol or something, or
No, he's looking towards you.
okay.
You do not
yeah.
recognize either of the guards.
So yeah, I would just say to both the guards, good day. I'm Rensek Vol, son of Ko-Rentar Vol. This is the delegation of people from Boletaria coming through. If we could please pass through here, maybe stop and have something to eat and take a rest, and then we'll be on our way.
Son of Ko-Rentar Vol. And I'm Ko-Renvartol himself. I am the king. They both laugh. What proof do you bring, stranger?
I kind of turn and expose like a part of my shell that you can't see.
Mm-hmm.
Or typically is covered up by at least like maybe a piece of cloth, or I'd say like a piece of cloth possibly, and like lift it up. And I just seem like using some kind of druid craft on it. I can make it visible, but it's like a carving in the shell. So I guess it wouldn't really need Druidcast. Yeah, there's like carving in the shell that the royal family has. So I'd show him that and say, family seal carved into the shell of all sons of Koren Tarvul, at least all sons that are in his line of succession. You would do best not to mock my father here.
Yeah, they kind of exchange a glance. Let's get like a persuasion check from you if you don't.
Yeah. Let me see.
Uh-oh.
Not good at that.
Yeah, one of them kind of turns and points to a carving on his ship. Yeah, got that from a crocodile about a mile from here. Guess that makes me royalty too. And they sort of laugh at each other. Ivar kind of slides up next to you and explains, we are here from Quetzal. This is Vol. He's stuttering a little bit. We're here to... The handoff happens here. We've been invited here. A few more turtle guards walk up with spears and shields.
Can you please go get who? We're in Clan Lake, right?
Yes.
And it was Asan Losable, I believe, or what was the name of the?
So that would be her. When you bring her, they explain that she is at Castle Tetzik.
Who's in charge here in her stead?
The Marquisat, her sister, Asen Il-Salik.
Can you bring her to us? She'll know what we're here for and who I am.
Another one of them chuckles off to your side. We will not bring the Marquisate out of her throne down here to deal with vagrants. Be gone. You have no business here.
Look, you will get her, or you will take us to her. There's a lot that has gone into us getting here, and won't allow our people to be what stops us from passing through. If you don't want this to be your last guard, you'll take us to her or bring us to her, or bring her to us.
Yeah, they take a minute and they kind of take a step back. Let's have you make an intimidation check, just based.
Not good at those either. Hey,
Okay.
that was more intimidating.
Yeah, they don't know you from Tom Dicker. But yeah, though not the one you're speaking to, but the one that's been standing next to him whispers to the one you're speaking to. He says, "Fine. I'll take you and one other. The rest of you wait here. Not him." And he points to Bivar.
I was just gonna say Bivar. Ralik. Come with me. They'll take me and one other to meet the leader here.
Okay. Is everything okay?
They just... I haven't been here. They don't know who I am. They don't know who you are. They seem not to know what we're doing here. It'll be fine. We just need to clear it up.
Oh, yeah, I'll go with you.
All right, so me and Ralik are coming.
Okay.
Where are you? Where are they taking you? Like, it's not far, right?
I'm not sure where it is, but I mean, it shouldn't be too far.
Okay.
Yeah, Bivar kind of looks to all of you and then does 2 taps with his staff and starts to kind of cast the spell that you would all see him cast on a regular basis to keep you within communication. At once, like 4 spears drop towards him at once, and 4 turtles make an advance. He kind of stops and puts his hands up. You can now understand them, but he is intimidated, and they are very protective of this area, apparently. So there's an awkward moment there where they're holding spears. Vol and Ralik are now separated from the group, and maybe about 5 feet down the path, Bivar kind of croaks towards them. I did not mean any offense. We will wait here. With that, Rallick and Volk, you are led across one of these wooden walkways. It loops around the base of the tree. You come to a large opening on the far side of the tree with a set of steps that go up. There's got to be 100 of them. You scale these steps and into the trunk of the tree. I don't have a map for it because, again, it was not perfect on the ground. But there is a large, sprawling throne room that is different than the one that you were received in by the lizard folk. While there's clearly furniture here that had been made of discarded wood, it has long since been overgrown with mosses, vines, and it doesn't appear like this hall gets a lot of use. At the head of the room is a tall throne sitting empty. It appears to be a mushroom that's coming out from the inside of the trunk and is perfectly formed to look like a chair. Next to it, there is a much smaller wooden throne seating a spotted turtle woman, who will move to the token layer so you can see her. There she is.
Ooh.
Wow.
So she's sitting up on the chair next to the throne. Between you and her, there are maybe 8 other turtles of various colors and sizes. They're wielding pikes and shields like the ones that you've run into so far. They're also wearing various mismatched pieces of wooden and scale armor. As you approach, the 2 guards who are moving with you continue to the rest of them, we'll say 4 out of the 8, move to intercept you. They basically stand between you and the turtles that escorted you here as those ones walk up to the throne.
Smile politely.
Yeah, bow. What was her name again?
Sen
Sorry.
Ilsa League. Here, I'll put it in chat.
Yeah, that's right. Probably easier. Yeah, I'd bow and then say,
I would say she's probably outside of your speaking range at the moment.
oh, okay.
It looks like these guys are going to go up and kind of like have a sort of like a parlay with her.
I'll stay bowed then.
Sure. Perfect. Yeah,
Kind of awkward to imitate him.
Yeah, so the 2 of you just kind of bend at the waist and stare at the ground for a few minutes.
So while we're doing that, just real quick, I'm gonna, as they go parlay with her, I'm gonna real quietly whisper to Rallick, "The ones outside, at least. Why we're here. Just be on your guard."
Okay. Do we have to stay like this?
At least until she notices us, or my back's sore. Give it a couple seconds.
Yeah, my back hurts too.
Alright, I'm standing up. It's taking a while.
Yeah, you see, they make no effort to stop you from doing whatever the fuck it is y'all are doing. You stay bowed for a few moments, and then when you lean up, you see the 2 guards that had intercepted you originally are now up there and speaking with this woman who has been introduced as a Marquisette. Vol, you would know that this is basically, essentially, this means that while her sister is, she is the one who is in charge of the family. The queens are recalled from these remote locations to go back to the capital on basis, and the families that, you know, mother or father the queen, are left to kind of rule their individual lands while the queen is gone. After a few moments of talking and nodding, she continues her meal, and the 2 guards that had originally accompanied you here come down. They part the guards who are pointing the spears at you and look at you and we'll have someone down in a minute that can verify this mark of you. Until then, grab a seat.
Yeah, just nod and take a seat. I'm not looking to throw up a hornet's nest here.
Yeah. Thank you. I'll go and sit down.
Yeah, you see he's a little bit alarmed at the fact that you can speak his language, or he understood you.
Oh,
Which is
oh no, I didn't understand anything he said.
well,
then,
no,
right?
Vivar technically would have got you with the spell, so
Oh.
you can both understand and speak their language, which absolutely catches them off guard.
It would probably catch me off guard if I realized what was going on.
Yeah, right. At one point, you realize you understand what they're saying, and that probably feels good.
But I've already sat down by then.
Sure. Yeah. So a few minutes goes by. We'll cut back to the group that is sitting outside of the. You all notice there are groups of turtles moving about this town, again carrying supplies back and forth. You've kind of been forced to the side of the road at this point. There is, the sounds of the swamp around you, this beautiful tree, the flock of white birds that's apparently flying through the scenery. That is nice. Just wanted to check in with you guys. Is there anything you want to do or say before we cut back to them? I know this has been a lot of me talking.
Exposition corners are important. We know this. No, I mean, I think we're kind of playing tour group right now.
Okay.
I think that Clipper is kind of concerned to make a misstep, understanding that this culture is, going to be a lot like some of the others we've encountered, where there's certain practices that, you just do or don't do. So just kind of watching and taking things in.
Sure. Yeah, one of the things that you would notice if you're kind of watching and taking in their behavior is they begin to investigate the carts that you guys are dragging along and the contents inside of the carts. You pretty quickly notice that these turtles treat these lizard folk, these Morkendi, like shit. They have no problem kind of pushing them around or moving them to the side of the road or barking commands at them. Move this, check this. And the Morkendi themselves seem rather subservient. They do exactly as they're asked or as they're bid. They are quick to respond and bow politely, but these guys in particular are not super friendly. You would surmise.
I'll lean into what's his name, Bolvar?
Vivar.
Ivar. Bolvar is from World of Warcraft. I'll lean into Ivar and in not the language that we've been gifted the ability to speak, but I've heard Ivar speak like other languages, right?
You would have only heard him speak Aquan so far.
Oh, okay. Then I guess in Aquan, I'll say to him, why do they seem so hostile? Are they not expecting us?
I'm not sure. They should have received word of our delegation, but things move quickly in this. There were 2 caravans that left before us. If they didn't arrive, well, it wouldn't be the first time. I'm sorry that this is happening. Please accept our apologies.
You don't need to apologize to me, friend. You're not the one acting out of line here.
He kind of grasps the staff that he's been walking with and nods to you and kind of looks down. It's best to just do as we're told. We've learned that it's not a good idea to cross this clan.
I'll give him a respectful nod.
Everything will be fine. He smiles. Unless anybody had anything different, then we will cut back to our compatriots inside of the tree at this moment.
Okay. Tree friends.
Tree friends. After a few moments, I guess it's been a little bit longer than a few moments, but after a while, you guys in the tree, you're kind of sitting there, you're getting impatient, bored, maybe even. This person continues to sit in her sub-throne, eating and drinking and not even really making eye contact with any of you. An elderly turtle is brought out from a room behind the throne. He's carrying a staff that's covered in long moss, green and gray. He's a pretty standard-looking turtle. He's got green skin. He's got a brown shell. He's Vol, I guess you would probably recognize him as old, Rallic, I guess you would have no idea. He kind of takes a minute to hobble down the steps, and he comes up to the two of you sitting there and kind of leans heavily on his staff. Says, greetings.
Hi.
Greetings.
I am told you bear a mark.
I do of the line of Co-Run Tarvol, and as I'm doing it, I'm kind of pull the it's like over his back, like right shoulder, pulling like the cloth off of that to show where it is.
Yeah, you spin around and you lift up the cloth. You see this guy kind of pull a monocle out and affix it to his eye. He looks at you and he's looking at you as he investigates the mark and says, there are many who claim to be of Koren Tarvol's line. It requires verification. He has a very big line.
Tell me what you require. And as he as he asks it, he's gonna hold both palms open to him and kind of like druidcraft two little, almost like they're not flowers, they're more like mushroom druidcraft out of both, like in the palms of both of his hands. Like as he asks that or says that.
Yeah, he reaches out and grabs one of the mushrooms and cuts it with his turtle, puts it in his mouth and chews it. Thank you. He then moves behind you to check the mark. He stares at it for a moment. It takes maybe a little bit longer than it. Rallic, you can see this, but I guess Vol can't because it's all happening behind his shell. He's looking for a minute, and then the monocle falls out and like skitters across the ground, and he has to kind of grab it and pick it up and put it back on and refocus and look at it and says, I greet you, son of Koren Tarvol. Welcome to Alanmere.
Thank you for having us. Were you not previously told of our arrival?
I was told nothing. However, the Marquisette may know more.
The Marquisette doesn't seem to inform her people if she does. Well, I thank you for acknowledging who we are. Perhaps you can help us. We just need to pass.
Yeah, he nods at you. I will explain to the Marquisette who you are. What she chooses to do is up to her.
I appreciate that. Would you like us to wait here while you speak to her, or are we free to return to our people?
He thinks about it for a moment and suggests, stay. I don't think this will take long. But I've been wrong before. And he sort of just stumbles off towards the throne. Puts his little monocle in a side pouch and leans heavily on his crooked staff as he walks towards the front of the throne. He approaches the Marquisette on her smaller throne, and you see basically a few moments of him standing there, kind of waving his arms slightly and talking to her. She doesn't ever really make eye contact with him. She just sort of continues to ignore him. Eventually, a flippant hand motion arises as she waves him off. She points at a guard who then approaches her and says something. And the guard comes down and says, your identity has been confirmed, son of Koren Tarvol. Allow me to take you to your chambers.
What about the rest of our group? Can they join us?
He looks at you. He's almost got a look of annoyance in his face. We'll send someone for them. We'll take you to your rooms first.
Rallic, should we go without them? I'd feel better if we were all together.
Well, I mean, I'm sure we're safe, but yeah, I mean, it makes more sense to run and get them. They're probably kind of tired. It's been a long trip.
Well, why don't you?
Hi, I'm Relic. I'm Listara's son.
What?
Relic.
It's Relic Sengar.
Singer, Listara, singer.
Okay.
Well, he's gonna run and get our.
Yeah.
I'll come with you.
Yeah. I'll just meet you. Not back here, I guess. We'll find you.
He will not move amongst the German tree unprotected or unsupervised. 2 guards flank you and follow you out.
Oh, good. Thanks.
So he's gonna, as he kind of walks a different way from Rallick, he's gonna kind of try to talk under his breath again. Just tell him, Rallick, remind the group, no names unless you know the full name, and walk on eggshell.
Oh yeah. I'll tell him about the eggs.
I was actually just wondering, like, I wonder
Oh.
if walking on eggshells is bad advice in a turtle village.
Oh
Yeah.
no. Not those eggshells.
No.
It seemed like good turtle advice.
I'll tell him about the eggs.
So, Rallick, you go running off with these 2 guards flanking you. This other guard, Vol, kind of leads you towards the side of the tree, which opens up to the outside again. But it's a winding wooden path that leads upwards. You circle the tree once and then twice. You come to a door. It's like a heavy wooden plank door. Pretty well overgrown with vines and mosses. Again, a few mushrooms, things like that. He reaches down next to his shelf and produces a key ring. He places the key inside of the door and turns and then pulls with all of his might, and it rips away at the vines and the moss that have kind of reclaimed this door. And it opens up into a small cottage, for lack of a better term. It's within the outcropping of the tree itself. There is a small common area, and there are like 5 bedrooms that all have just 2 pretty rickety, standard-looking beds inside. There are no windows that face the outside, so it is pretty dark in here. He takes a moment to kind of walk around and light the torches that are inside. He turns to you and says, "We'll go get the rest of your friends. You're to stay here. Don't wander around without permission or an escort."
I thank you for bringing us here, taking us to, or bringing me to the room. I will not wander off. And he's gonna plop down. I'm guessing it's like one of these side houses on the thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I
It looks
think
very similar to that.
I would say like I'd plop down on the edge of it with like my feet dangling over the side.
Mhm.
Probably horrifically dangerous for like a 600-pounder.
Well, I mean, the wood beneath your feet does feel sturdy, despite how scary it. You get the feeling that they know what they're doing. They've had to build quite a few of these, and at first a lot of them probably collapsed, so they probably learned some tricks.
So like yeah, after I sit down, I'm gonna like as he's still looking, I kind of start hacking a little bit, and then barf a bunch of green beads into my hand, and then just hold one out to him and say, "For your troubles, my friend."
Yeah, he leans down and picks one up and doesn't even smell it, just pops it. "I'll be here if you need anything." He just leans up against the side of the door, essentially.
I could use a story if you have one. And then you don't have to tell a story for him, but I just want to leave him telling a long turtle story.
Sure. Yeah, he ingratiates you with the story about this hunt that they went on. They were hunting a large crocodile that was near here. They called him Old Seven Tooth, and it goes on this long, just very wordy journey about these brave hunters who went out to capture and kill Long Seven Tooth, and nobody ever made it back, and they all died. It's like it's got this like horrible, like quick ending to it that like builds to a really nice crescendo, and then he's just like, and they all died, and nobody came home, and like just typical turtle story.
I say for someone who's like usually pretty monotone and relaxed, pulls like a kid on the edge of his seat the entire time, like on every word of this guy's story.
Sure.
Tears at the end.
Yeah, he shares his story with you. He asks you to share a story with him. If you have anything you'd like to share, you can do that, or we can cut away.
Yeah, you can cut away. He would just tell of a story of like their journey coming down here.
Sure.
Picking maybe of the festival that they went to and all the games and stuff, and the drinking contest and the archery and all that fun stuff.
Perfect. Yeah, he listens to you and nods, and you may have won this chap over a little bit. We'll cut away to Relic as you kind of like run down the pathing. Again, these wooden walkways that lead you back to your friends who are sort of standing outside of town waiting for you. They've been forced off to the side as other traders and things like that come and go. It's not often, but essentially y'all were told to clear the path to allow for traffic that does come and go. You make it down. One of the guards says to the other guard, their identities have been confirmed. They're to be escorted to, and he gives him a random assortment of letters and numbers. With that, one of the guards yells at the two lizard folk who are closest to him and says, "Get your carts back on the road. Come inside. We'll be watching you." Without much delay, they begin to pull the carts back onto the path and lead you all across the wooden walkway to the base of the tree. After a few moments, one of the guards explained, "You'll need to leave the carts down here. They don't do well up there, but we'll make sure that we feed the animals and take care of your cargo." He hands essentially like a parking ticket to Bivar, who nods and doesn't say anything. You're all led up a different path, Relic, than you had originally experienced, winding up the sides of the tree without going through the throne room, essentially. Eventually, you find yourself on the same path that Vol had gone to, and you see him kind of sitting at the edge of the platform, kind of kicking his feet over the side.
Yeah, Vol took care of everything. I think that I think they're not so bad, but he said we're not sure who's around here, and we have to be careful about their eggs and get their names. But he's over there. He'll know what to do.
Yeah, y'all take some time and work on this stuff together. I've talked long enough.
All right.
Perry puts the back of his hand up to a corner of his mouth and kind of leads into Relic and says, "Well, they've been quite rude out here."
Oh, well, yeah, they were. I mean, they're not real friendly, I guess. But I mean, it all seems to be working out fine. I mean, they gave us this place to stay in. I mean, it's not that moldy.
It's probably just their way. I mean, I don't know. They maybe are just quite pragmatic, and quite honestly, they have a bunch of people here that they didn't really want to have here. We kind of just,
Or perhaps they're just assholes.
I mean, I think that old guy let Vol.
As Rorik says, maybe they're just assholes. Perry kind of like points his thumb over his shoulder towards Relic and nods his head.
I for one just think that we should, get done with what we need to here and be on our way. It's not going to be, it's not. This isn't a hotel, right?
Yeah, how long are we here for? We're just passing through, right, Vol?
It's a good question. I didn't know. Did you guys approach me? That other guy?
Yeah,
I think it's while we were
we could say
walking.
that you guys kind of walked up and have now.
Yeah. How long are we here? What was the?
Who are you asking?
Oh, I didn't know if we were supposed to know. Yeah, I'd reply to Relic. I honestly don't know how long we're going to be here for.
But they're
Probably
going
just
to escort us at some point, right? When is the? I don't even remember the date anymore.
we're kind of on a a step-by-step basis here. They just figured out, at least said they figured out who we are. We just need to wait for instruction. If you want, take a seat next to me. My friend, insert turtle name, back here knows some great stories that can help pass the time.
Okay.
Strong pass. I just
Perry kind of
I walk
Perry-
away.
Perry lifts his feet up and sees to his delight that his shoes are still clean. His face kind of twists and he says, "You can barely even see the road here."
I think we're being a little bit, complainy. Whatever the word. I should know this
Well,
word.
What's the matter?
Nothing. I just
Complaining about.
I just think that everyone is a little they're a little uneasy. Probably we've been traveling for a long time, and maybe you all should eat the food. You all like food, right? You all like that
I do
stuff.
like food.
Here's something if you're hungry. And holds out the 9 remaining green slime balls.
No,
I
thank
mean,
you.
they might have a formal dinner later or something.
Byvar takes one of the slime balls. Thank you.
You're welcome. I think I'll have one myself. Will pops one in his mouth too.
Perry gags a little bit.
Vol, you would notice Byvar kind of slink away at one point and turn to the few remaining lizard folk who are still following. He has a brief conversation with them, and they exchange hugs. And all of them but Byvar then descend down the tree. You would understand this to mean that they are off on their way home.
Is it just you from here out by bar?
Yes. Moving forward, we were told that a new bodyguard regiment would be given to us here at Alanmere. I'm to accompany you due to my ability to help everyone communicate properly. Is it okay if I continue with you?
Yeah, it would be an honor to have you come join us at the castle, at least to meet my father. I'm sure he'd be honored as well.
Yeah, he bows to you. The honor is mine. I think I'm going to go rest a little bit inside. The journey was stressful.
I second that.
Is it nighttime now?
I would say it's
Right.
probably like evening, so we can fast forward to nighttime.
Oh, I was just asking. I wasn't trying to rush anything.
No, it's okay. I would say it's about evening time. You probably made it here about midday, but you sat and waited for probably an hour or two before you heard anything, and then you guys had to unload, and now you're kind of, you're here. You're in this. Again, I guess I would call it a cottage, if nothing else. It's like a small living domicile that's built into the side of the gentleman that you had spoken with that I did not roll a name for will easily and happily offer his story about Long Seven Tooth and go into the exact same story, word for word, cadence for cadence, that he told you, to anybody who cares to listen. 4 of the 6 guards who brought you guys up follow the lizard folk back out of town. 2 additional ones stay up here and wait, so you are essentially here. You're eventually brought food. It is a mix of things like mushrooms and berries and grasses and things like that are presented to you in very haphazard fashion. Small bowls that are a little more than like feeding troughs, essentially, are kind of brought up and handed to you, and you're allowed to, eat what you'd like or leave what you'd like, and at the end they'll take them and leave. A few water skins are brought up as well, and kind of just piled on the small table in the entryway for you to use as you see fit.
Perry does his best to probably use prestidigitation over and over to find like the cleanest bits of like leaves and everything he can and make himself a little cup of tea.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. I would say that there is a So what would you use to like make the tea itself? Are you going to boil water?
Yeah, I think with prestidigitation, I can heat.
Yeah. Okay. You can do it without fire, essentially.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. If you would have lit a fire, the guards would have yelled at you. But because you did not light a fire, we'll say that you can.
Okay.
Evening passes into night. Go ahead.
Nothing. No, I was just gonna say it got quiet there for a second. Keep going.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, evening fades into night. You are not met with anything else. These guards stand outside until you all go to bed. Once you're in bed, you hear the heavy door kind of close behind you and the sound of the mechanical lock kind of slapping into place. The night is yours if you would like to talk or do anything with each other inside of the enclosed space. If not, we will fast forward to the morning.
We.
Did anybody have anything they wanted to do?
I don't have anything I really need to do, unless. No, I mean. Again, I think we're all interested in like, crafts. Like, what the kinds of things do they have a currency? Do they sell things? Do they barter?
I'm just doing poison.
Kind of
stuff.
night though. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, all of you are kind of free to spend the evening with yourselves. There's one guard who is inside. There are two guards outside by the door. The one inside is not really interested in answering many questions. But we'll say that you can make like a persuasion check if you're going to try to get him to open up about anything.
Yeah. Sure.
I'm gonna sit outside on the balcony if I can still. As late as I can.
Yeah, you can sit outside until eventually you can't sit outside anymore. Like when you get too tired, when you go in, they lock the door.
Yeah, that's fine.
Shit. Yeah, with an 18, I bet you're gonna make a friend.
Good. I like friends. So
sure. Yeah, this guard who's sitting inside, you ask him so many questions that eventually he starts answering you.
Okay, good. Yeah. So what is this over here? What is this substance right here?
That's a chair.
Okay. And what? How do you feel about really the peace talks? How do you feel about peace? Is that good for you or?
Everything's peaceful around here.
Well, what is it like to know you're going to die someday?
Wait, I'm gonna die?
Not right now.
Bill! This guy said I'm gonna die!
No, I'm sorry. I meant...
Death is natural. We accept it like we accept sleep or hunger or anything else. It's part of life.
Makes sense. I guess everyone here seems like they're pretty well adjusted and not as much strife here as we've seen elsewhere. Actually, well, parts of the swamp have been a little tumultuous, but yeah, it's always just been, I don't know, people here aren't preparing for war, they're not building weapons or anything like that.
No one can bring war this far in. They wouldn't be able to survive. Years have taught us how to live here.
Well,
are we
take
all
a miracle for any. Yeah, anybody can be.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody has anything to ask him. I don't really know what Clipper would want to know. I guess I kind of like the idea of him just being like, "Hello."
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Chip in on your last question that you asked them about why they're not like doing war stuff here, and I was gonna say, we all only have so much time in this world, as you just informed our friend here. Why would we spend that time doing things for war, destroying?
I guess
He points at Vol and says, "He gets."
I've just been watching the others do that, and I assume that's kind of the way of things.
Well, for people of your country. It seems to be. I mean, that's why we're in this situation to start with. I don't understand it as much as you don't understand us.
Right. I've just been trying to, I guess, understand like what it's going to be like to be. I mean, I haven't been alive for nearly as long as all of you. Maybe like a fraction of the time. Even the youngest of you. So I'm just trying to understand what life is going to be like when everything I've known is going to change. And most of them too, but like I've only known being prepared to go into some sort of heinous situation or learning about what might endanger my life.
I assume your life will be whatever you make of it. I mean, this man here may look like me and we live in the same place and we have the same peace, but I guarantee his life has been far different than mine. It's what you choose to do.
Yeah, I see the people here and the way that they live is not. I don't need to do a lot of the things that they do to survive, and I guess I don't know what I want, and no one's ever asked me what I wanted.
Well, you haven't been alive.
No.
Maybe someone will ask you someday. Or,
Oh.
I mean, what do you want?
I don't know. I guess that's a big question, and I have to kind of think on this. It's just confusing. Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to make your friend uncomfortable talking about mortality. Sometimes I just think about it. And he's just gonna kind of.
I'm fine. Just do your thing.
Oh, okay. It's nice to meet you. I don't have any more questions for you. Thank you for telling me about the chair.
It's a nice chair. Did you hear about old Long 7?
No.
Allow me to tell you the story
It's a good
about
story.
old Long 7.
Listen closely.
All right, here I am.
Don't miss any details, but if you do, let me know, and I'll start again.
I'll start scribing.
He waxes on for a good 2.5 hours about this story that could have been in the amount of time that I summarized it in, but you hear about the smells and the colors and all of the individual details kind of one at a time, and he wasn't even there. This is a secondhand story, so you can only imagine if he had heard the story himself or been there, what it must entail.
It gets better every time.
Right?
I can only imagine.
So yeah, we'll cut away from
Yeah.
Bowl and Clipper and the gentleman. I guess I need to come up with a name for this guy because all of a sudden he's a main character, for Christ's sake.
Sure, why not?
Did anybody else have anything y'all wanted to do? I had heard something about poison stuff. Eligor, was that you?
Yeah, I'm just doing poison stuff.
Oh, poison
Alright.
stuff.
I forget where we left off on you. I know you have the ingredients. Have you tried to make poison up until?
We were unsure exactly what that all entailed.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So we're still working on the system. So we'll say that you've got ingredients, and right now you're studying. Callie is going to spend time working on her musical instrument. Did any of the rest of you have anything you wanted to discuss with each other, or?
I think Bull's gonna counter that with another finishes.
Could you say that again?
I said after that guy finishes, Bull's just gonna counter him with another story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this continues long into the. You all eventually find rest. The beds are sturdy, but also super uncomfortable. They're hard as rocks. Vol, you sleep like a baby. Obviously, Clipper, again, you don't sleep, but To you guys, the beds are not uncomfortable. To the rest of you, they're essentially like wooden slats on a wooden frame. Harry, I would imagine you kind of curl up with your pillows at some point.
Oh yeah.
Night becomes day. Day becomes night. Night becomes day. Day becomes night.
We sleep for weeks.
2 or 3 days at this point have passed, and there is no sign that anything is happening.
Everything moves so slow here.
You all eventually kind of like hanging out on the brief area that you're allotted on the outside of the tree, begin to spot other folks from the delegation as they arrive. Smaller caravans that kind of pile in looking as ramshackle as you guys did. Nobody is kind of kept in the same spot. So like you see them approach on the wooden pathway. We'll say that you're on the one facing the outside of town. So I don't know, maybe y'all are like right here. And you see enough people to know that there are folks making it here safely. But again, day becomes night, and night becomes day. This continues for a good 4 or 5 days at this point. I would imagine some of you, or you know what? Fuck it. Let's make a game out of it. I'd like everybody to roll a wisdom saving throw.
Here we go. We're just to see if we crack and get cabin fever.
Yeah, essentially, we're gonna roll and see if anybody's got fucking cabin fever.
I'm fine. I can
If
just
we
go
get
dormant.
cabin fever, if we get cabin fever, are we gonna dance and sing about cabin fever?
We've got cabin
Absolutely.
fever.
Yes.
Rorik, Rallick, you guys are losing your fucking mind. You've been locked in this goddamn room for like 5 days, and the farthest you're allowed to go is this little balcony outside the room. And when you walk out there, all you get to do is walk out there and get handed a bowl full of mushy leaves. And then you're supposed to go inside and eat those mushy leaves in the dark. It's starting to drive you fucking crazy.
God damn it, Nermina! Why did you do this to me?
Why did we have to run back through the swamp that night if we were just going to sit here for 5 days? This is just not fair. Are you sure, Vol? We in the right place? Did you piss someone off, Vol?
You see the other people from the delegation coming in. We're in the right place. I don't see what's wrong. This is relaxing.
The mushy leaves, that's what's wrong. I'm going to say. Mushy leaves.
That's fine.
This is not relaxing. I need action. I
That's
need to be on the front line.
Your bones are still mending.
These leaves are fine cuisine. I could say the same thing about some of the food we had in your country.
Eel eggs are delicious.
I think leaves are delicious as well.
To hell with these vegetarians. And he just turns to Eligor and Rallick. He's like, which one of you just wants to start duking it out? Just go. I need training.
So while this is going on, Harry and his unseen servant.
Sorry.
Harry and his unseen servant are like off in a corner, like dusting all of the dirt out of a window or something, and he says, "Do we have a date for the peace talks? Are we on a timeline? I thought we were."
I don't know. Do we miss them? Are those people
Certainly
leaving?
Feels a bit like they're trying to keep us here.
Maybe we should go down and speak to the Marquette. Do you guys know when the peace talks are?
Who, me?
Not you.
Us the party, Jim. Do we know?
Tortle?
You guys would not have a date. You would not have been privy to that information. They would not have given you an exact date. They would tell
What
you.
kind of mission is this?
You work on order by order basis. You're told where to be and when, and then you wait for additional orders.
Well, right. So we were told to be here, and there's no one here to give us orders, right?
Right. You were told to come here and wait for additional orders.
Well, Tia, let's play that game you made. That looks interesting.
Yeah. So these are all the different countries in our world, and basically you pick one and you start there and you try to take over everything else. And then she just describes all these rules, and it's like Risk, as you could probably guess. but way more complicated and designed to last for like weeks. So
And given the state of the war, there are two sides. There is your side and the Kingdom of Death. So like, it's a 2-player game for sure.
Perry will cast minor illusion on the pieces to make them look like those like that game in Star Wars where the pieces are all like holographic.
oh yeah, so they like attack each other.
Yeah.
Oh, this is wonderful. This is wonderful. We can crush our enemies, literally, but not it's an illusion. It's fine.
You may not be good at dancing, but this is quite fun as well.
Let's have you guys make some kind of check to see who wins.
I mean, it's probably intelligence and it's probably not me.
Let's say roll your highest mental stat, intelligence, charisma, or wisdom, whatever.
Okay.
Because there's different ways of doing
Just straight?
Yeah, just straight.
Oh.
So, Tara, you thought you had a really good idea on how this game worked until Tia beat.
This game is
Raleigh
great.
is standing over both of you, like, no, move there. No, come on, you got to move over.
Keeping in mind that this is a game that takes days.
Right, exactly. And it does. It takes days and days and days. You guys continue to sit here. I mean, we'll say that this maybe started on the first day when y'all realized you couldn't go anywhere, which is maybe why Ralik's kind of losing his bananas at this point. It's just like,
We're just both so bad at this game.
right. It's just, no matter what I tell them to do, they don't ever make the right move. And it's just...
Like in between, like when it's Tia's turn, Perry is like commanding his unseen servant and casting prestidigitation over here, and like, alrighty.
Yeah, exactly. Spot.
Tia takes a very, very long time every turn, and then like takes the most obvious option instead of all the convoluted shit that she talks about, and, like talks through.
Perry like thinks about it for half a second and then moves a piece.
And Ralik kind of stands next to you guys.
I played like 3 games in my mind while I was pacing.
Right.
Ralik's
like
there, like, why
furiously
is this
carving
taking
his own
so
pieces.
long?
Like, I'm gonna make my own fucking.
He's just like, this should only take like an hour. What are you doing?
So yes, thank you all for indulging me there. That's one. Perry, you notice like every day that you clean up the room, you only get so far before you notice vines and things like that intruding on the space that was clean yesterday. So, you know, it pretty clearly is trying to make itself messy again as quickly as possible. There's moss growing. There's mushrooms sprouting up from the floorboards and things like that you repeatedly have to kind of deal with.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw my my little text there, but basically I'm very much aware that it's like eternally dirty. There's no way I can keep the swamp clean. And it's probably just for him it's like a side game that he's playing while he's playing the game with Tia. And that's maybe why he's not doing so well, because it's like 2 games at once.
Right.
But the other game is one that like really only he understands.
You like pick up one of the pieces and then hold it off the board and like grind a little mushroom into dust and then put it back on the board after you clean it. Now that that's gone. But yeah, so y'all's game continues over the course of those few days. You can ask questions. You can do. We'll fast forward past this part unless anybody has anything else specific they want to say.
I crave violence.
Haven't we had enough on the way here? I'm sure there'll be more to come after we leave. Save it for the swamp.
After you all complain about the food, the guard says something to the guy who comes and goes, and the guard comes back. He turns to you all and says, I understand you were sick of those mushy brown leaves. Allow me to offer you mushy red leaves.
Oh, good for you
Oh,
all.
I wonder what those will taste like in a tea.
That's fantastic.
I think you know, you all should try them though. It looks nutritious.
I think I detect a slightly different flavor, but just slightly. I think. I'm not
Well,
sure.
they're
Might just be
red.
red.
Brown.
I go back and I
Tastes
go
like
like,
red.
Red.
Can I just go back on the hill and die, please?
I have.
Yeah, I would say it's like the difference of taste between like iceberg lettuce and romaine lettuce.
Oh, romaine is so much better.
It is
Yeah,
it is.
Anybody who's like grossly picking through it, I think we'll just kind of be like, I have something that can help, and then he's gonna barf berries into his hand and kind of like toss one in each person's salad that is like looking at it.
After several days, I think Perry's like not even concerned about the fact that they're mushy because he's just throwing them into his cup and he's like, they get mushy in the cup anyways.
Yeah, Perry, you're surviving on like tea and hope at this point.
Yeah, I mean, like he's losing his mind a little bit too, but it's less because of the cabin fever.
Sure. It's everything else. It's all of these other horrible things.
It's
Exactly.
the OCD factor, yeah.
Yeah, I think the Turtle group has like seen you try to clean things, and they've made their own little game to keep time of like when the guards come back and like kicking mud all over, or like his bowl spits into his hand. He like moves his hand out of the way at the last second, and just like barfs green berry stuff on the floor.
I mean, honestly, it's helpful. It's like seriously, I'm like, I need a job. I need something to distract me from how terrible.
Oh my
all
god,
of this
something
is.
to do. Perfect. Yeah, so there's a reason I dragged you all through nails, and it's essentially to get you the idea that, like, yes, it has taken a long time to get everybody up until this point. About 4 days after you arrive, the morning comes, and the guard approaches the door and this evening, the Marquette will host you for dinner at the top of the Dreaming Tree.
We appreciate. Thank you.
The next time we have a meeting at work, we should talk like this.
Oh.
I know.
But yeah, he kind of nods and says, when the sun sets over the Dreaming Tree, the Marquette will host you for dinner.
So when he says dinner, he means like not just dinner, right?
Well, green leaves and red leaves and brown leaves, berries. I bet there'll be fish. Sounds like a feast.
That's not what I meant.
This
I mean, like we've been sitting here for days. Like, is this like an update? Is this like talking while eating about things and like work?
Well, it sounds like dinner, but beyond that, I guess we'll find out.
Okay.
I feel bad for all of you, but quite honestly, I feel fine. I don't, all the stuff you complain about doesn't normally seem to bother me, so I just want you to know that I'm okay. Clipper is fine.
Okay, so yeah, you all kind of anxiously stand out on the porch waiting for the sun to set, like, dear God, get me out of this hole in the wall that I've been living in for 4 days. I'm gonna lose my mind. Right after the sun sets, 2 guards approach. They make sure all of you are kind of gathered up and together, and you start the long march to the top of the tree. It's beautiful. I mean, it's just after sunset, so there is still some light to be found. It takes a long time to get up there. You probably walked for well over an hour, walking up over steps and wooden palisades, weaving in and out of the tree at different points. And as you get higher and higher and higher, the flora changes. There are flowers growing here of many different colors. The vines that reach from the swamp floor stop kind of overtaking the rest of this. They give way to branches that are covered in thick, vibrant leaves and small fruits, and you make your way near the top. You then pass through a dining hall. You notice the rest of the delegation seated here. So, other members of Boletaria, the actual delegation, like the diplomats themselves, are seated in this, and you are led through the room, in one door and out the other. out the far side, and a guard that is standing on the outside says, "The Marquette specifically requested son of Koren Tarbal dines with her. Your diplomats will be fed and taken care of, but she specifically wants to dine with you."
Is this a date?
Maybe. I hadn't really considered it.
But
I accept.
not with all of us, right?
You are all allowed to attend.
So are we like chaperone?
Third
Yep.
through ninth wheel.
Oh.
You are all led upstairs. Into this room. It is a very human-looking room. I apologize. Surprisingly, if you look for a Turtle Tavern map, it's hard to find.
You gotta make your own turtle taverns.
Right.
This is
What's the thing in the middle?
this is a good yawning portal, though.
Yeah. All of the we'll just say that the thing in the middle is like a big fire pit, essentially. But as opposed to fire, it seems to be full of some kind of mystical form of light. They're flames that do not give off heat, but give off light. It rises decently high into the room. Relic, you would recognize that a lot of these turtles seated around are the same ones who were in the original throne room when the two of you arrived. So, Vol, you would notice that as well. The lady is here as well. There she is again. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Sen Ilsa League receives you, and you are all seated. You may drag out your tokens at any of the 3 tables in the lower left-hand corner. So this one, and that one. I'll drag out Kelly.
So when I try to drag out my token, it just highlights everything in.
No, it does that sometimes. You have to like, you have to try to like click away, get it to unhighlight, and then try to do it again. It's just the whole
It
thing.
literally won't highlight.
I got you. I'll take care of you. We'll put you here right between Callie and Rally.
Callie and Rally.
And we'll put Ryvar down here with Bull. Tia, I'm going to put you over here. And then we need Eligor, I think. You know what? Rourke, I'm going to move you to. I'm going to put you in Brand there. And I will drag out Eligor. There you go. There's awesome. So you are all kind of brought into this room. There is not a lot of conversation that takes place. There is food that is brought up. The guards sort of maintain their posts. This is the first real meal that you guys have had. There are fish. There are different types of kelp and things like that offer different flavors. It's probably the best meal you've had since you left the road, which is surprising because normally eating on the road is not a good thing. Vol, it's just as good as every other meal. You don't understand why these people can't handle their mushy leaves, but you make it through dinner. There's music playing. We'll say that there is one turtle with like a fiddle who plays music throughout dinner, and towards the end of the meal, we'll say that the Marquette stands up and kind of spreads her hands. Son of Koren Tarvol, all of Alanir is at your disposal. The delegation you've brought will be escorted to Castle Tetzinger as per the pact.
Thank you. We appreciate the time that you let us stay in your home and the help that you're going to give us in the next day or so.
Far from us to question the wisdom of Koren Tarvol, the conqueror, who came here and claimed my sister for his own.
You seem to take offense by this. You sound insincere.
Oof.
I sound insincere, son of Koren Tarvol, because I am insincere. You and your friends are never going to leave this place.
Oh no.
Dun, dun, dun.
I can't tell if you're joking or if that actually just happened.
It sure did.
Wait, what is this a betrayal? Vol, what is happening? I have to
There
put
are-
myself at a table.
It's probably not the best time to explain what's happening. I would say there are as I'm pulling out my quarterstaff. There are
Yes.
things I didn't tell you.
Did you scorn this woman?
Told her I would not take her hand in marriage.
The ultimate insult. She kind of beckons towards the stairs, and the biggest turtle any of you has ever seen lumbers up the stairs carrying this wicked-looking staff.
He doesn't look peaceful.
His shell is dark and covered in spike. He's got a sinister look on his face. He says, "Your father, Koren Tarvol, has destroyed our way. We seek to reclaim it. Join us or die."
My father did no such thing. He saved these lands from the Sahagins and what the destruction that they brought. If you don't put down your weapons now, you'll be the ones who die here today.
You tell him. Can we just take him and go instead? And maybe we can find our own way to Delegation?
No.
Who are you?
It won't matter soon enough. He takes his staff and kind of plants it in the ground. At that point, I would say that we should roll initiative. However, this is a pretty big combat. This is probably going to take a long ass time. I do not see us finishing this in the next 29 minutes.
Hmm.
I would suggest that perhaps we save it for next week. But I'm more than capable of going through it. I am technically not in tomorrow until 11 a.m. I've got time, but that's not fair to the people who do have to work in the morning.
I mean, I can, do it until our time and then see what happens. I don't know. Sometimes I get sleepy after 11 because I'm old and I have work.
So
but
there's a line in. If y'all think you can go, I don't even know if I should do this. It feels, you know what? I'm going to use DM's discretion. I'm going to call it
okay.
because I do think this will take a while. There are so many
Why
of
not?
them.
Yeah, take your time and maybe see if you can do some like back cuts and do some write some dialogue and stuff like that. We can even just keep bantering at each other.
Yeah, I'm in no rush to necessarily end things. At the same time, we went till 3 a.m. that one time, and that was so bad. And this is that kind of a night.
Oh, did we?
These guys are dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, if these guys are dangerous, is this the idea that we're leveling maybe 2 or no? I forgot we leveled last. Okay.
Y'all be very far from 5 for a while.
All right. And yeah.
I know that sucks. It's pretty early.
No. One thing I think that you always do really well is just like you've paced your story and like I think the world really well, so it's just good to keep a grip on that and not to push things in an unnatural direction,
Mm-hmm. I appreciate that.
Good job having this all ready to go too.
Well, yeah,
Do you guys remember at the beginning of the session when he was like, "This session's gonna be garbage"?
Why do you guys think that you spent 5 days in a room? Because I was like, oh god.
Yeah, I thought you were stretching for time, but then I mean, you could have pushed to fight number 2. I know that seems like, oh, going back to back fights, but if that's the narrative, you know, if that's like, if you wanted to have like a scenery random encounter on another encounter, then you just have a full session like hangout the next time.
Yeah,
We've certainly had those.
Yeah, I thought it was important to introduce at least a little bit of a break between these 2 combats. Honestly, what happened was I rolled up 2 combats for the road, expecting you to hit one, not both, but you hit both. So, sort of created a situation where you guys got here this session instead of last session, and I didn't know how long the combat would take at the beginning. So,
yeah. I don't
yeah.
know.
I mean, I apologize. I wish that I could fill these next 20 minutes better than what I just
No.
with, so.
I mean, this is a good time for us to do like, you know, if you want to do an inspiration vote, like instead of just in chat, or if you want to do any like,
yeah, it might be kind of nice to hang out for a little bit.
Yeah, if you want to ask questions of the players, like where do you see the character, you know, you can start quizzing us and, you know, asking for elements that the characters, you know, are maybe gonna encounter. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but you get it.
I have an idea. Let's do the thing I said we were gonna do at the beginning of the session. Everybody take a minute to introduce your characters, what they look like.
We have to do it really carefully so you can make a highlight. So hold on, we gotta.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, I'll basically make a clip of this on the Twitch channel, and then we can link the clip when people have questions about who is the party.
Oh, and before that, I did clean up the audio last minute, so good for me. I'm really sorry about the bad audio that you're going to have all the way through this one.
You're good, man. I don't think this is getting the 10,000 downloads a week.
Well, no, we had a couple people pop in, but one thing I'll say, if you start streaming off of your platform, I realized that I was streaming at a really high audio bit rate when our Discord audio, we're capping it pretty low so we don't tax people with bad connections. So like that was my bad. I didn't realize I was streaming out like a really high quality audio that I didn't need to be. So
I gotcha. Yeah, no, I appreciate the heads up. I'm sure that'll come into play if I ever get the chance to figure that shit out. I'm gonna start at the top of the list. I'll hold off on Callie. So
real quick before we get started, in case anybody didn't see the message in Discord, I did update our like note and loot sheet to give each player their own little section where they can take notes.
Right.
So and each one of those also has a section where you can take notes on other player characters. So
if like anybody wants crushes on.
Well, like there's honestly, like I looked at the breakdown before the game, and this is everything I want when I'm playing. So take some time to check out this document, guys, because there are sections here for like things that I want to ask the DM when I get a chance.
Right.
Stuff I want to bring up for the individual characters, like trinkets I got and where I got them, unidentified stuff that might fit under that same category. Like, definitely check that shit out. That probably took a lot of work and would be really good for anybody that's keeping notes anywhere else to maybe centralize them there so that you never lose a backup.
I've always been bad at taking notes, and I wish I had at the beginning because I feel like there's definitely things that get lost. Like I don't even know how much money I have right now, you know?
So, Jim and I talked about this before the game. I'm going to spend some time kind of going through some stuff with him about, because I also wasn't taking notes through pretty much any of this. So he and I are going to go back through and kind of fill in some of the gaps for just kind of like the general player notes. The nice thing about this system is that everybody has access to the sheet. Everybody can contribute. So rather than just one person having to like take really meticulous notes, we can kind of play off of each other. If somebody else already covered something, that creates less work for everybody else.
I could try to clip highlights from this one and the last one that I had recorded too, at least those two, you know. Just go through and like find like the best joke and then the best, you know, like bits of information we need to remember, you know, like that sort of thing. Because sometimes sitting there, like you don't want to recap a whole episode, but having a
I wasted probably a good 15 minutes today rewinding and laughing at some of our jokes while listening to them. So, like, as always, I appreciate you guys. You make this whole thing worthwhile. It's so much fun to play this game with you. And some of the moments that we have, like the little quips that come in from time to time, are fucking priceless.
Well, the highlights from like our old stuff, like I still sometimes go, "Oh yeah, I remember that." You know, like those ones I had on my channel. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we may never get internet famous, but goddamn it, every other Sunday, I have a really good time.
Mhm.
I appreciate the effort that all of you put in game and out of game to make this as fun as it is.
Well, I'll keep working with Panda on. We'll figure out, you know, if like I don't mind us both like having backup streams that seem to work out today, but you know, if we're gonna try to synergize like a brand that you're going for, you know, we can work on that.
Yeah, I will say, like, at least for now, until there's any sort of synergy, when I linked two streams, I got way more questions from people than I normally do. They were like, wait, you guys have two streams? I was like, yeah, we're going to try to set up squad streaming. So, like, you know, you can jump into one or the other. We'll have different layouts. And it's not like a thing we're advertising per se, but if one of the streams isn't coming in right or whatever, you know, check out the other one.
Yeah, I like that squad stream too. Because I know that cameras and stuff on it, but like if we do the squad thing, I'll flip my webcam on me, you'll have yours on you, so at least it covers a couple of us talking into it and stuff.
Yeah, and I should take a day to work with Sham to like get you. Yeah, maybe you were just about to say that, Sham.
Yeah,
but I could
we were on the same page there.
Yeah, I could set you up. We could set you up with a basics thing. You know, there's so many free like overlays and things you can just start with. You know, like you don't have to have anything fancy. Like just, you know,
Yeah, we can spend some time over the next couple of weeks working on that.
Yeah, I have to put in twice as much work because I use a Mac, so it's like fucking ridiculous.
So we're good from a perspective of maybe cutting our audio here with our character introductions, if we want to do that.
Yeah, so I will. Well, shut up. Everybody, shut up.
Fuck up.
Okay.
Hello, Internet. Allow me to introduce the players of the Those Who Fight campaign. We'll start at the beginning, alphabetically. Brian, let's put you on the spot. Can you tell us about Rallic?
Rallic is a tall, well-built half-elf soldier in the army. He's a paladin devoted to Nienna, the moon goddess, and yeah, I guess that's about it.
Half elf, right?
Yeah, half-elf takes more after the human side, other than his pointed ears. Has a tattoo on his forehead of a half moon.
Perfect. Clipper.
I'm Clipper. I am a machine designed to do war, but I also have a printer installed in my chest. And I believe that this was originally created so I could do some sort of subterfuge, like looking at enemy documents and copying them. But it turns out that my ability to do this was not needed for that, as far as I know, and I'm going to be documenting progress of peace talks that are occurring with my chest camera. I have a gun. I found the gun, but I also have one in my arm, and that's something I'm exploring about myself. I'm also exploring about mortality and understanding what living life means. Hello. I think that's it.
Perfect. Tia, are you available to describe your character?
Yes, I am available. So hi, I'm Tia. I am a human. I make things. I guess you call me a cleric. But like clerics have gods and stuff, and I don't really know what that means. I just, I make robots and they do cool things and they're adorable. Like I have this little robot here on my shoulder. Her name is Rosie. I made her when I was a child. And then my mentor, like when I was learning how to make, I've made robots since I was really itty bitty. He saw her and he was like, "Wow, that's super awesome! That's even more awesome." And then he took her and he made her eye, which is cool, but I don't. I'll figure that out someday.
Wonderful. Continue on down the list. Eligor, can you tell us about your character?
I am Eligor. I am a half orc, but as you can see, I wear lots of very heavy armor specifically for the purpose of hiding that identity. So most people aren't actually aware of me being a half orc. I'm something of a hunter, a blood hunter, so I spend my time fighting, really. And aside from that, not much to tell.
Okay. Rorik.
Yes, I am Rorik Stormbringer. I am a rogue and fighter combination. Swashbuckler, elf, and yeah, I have things.
Okay. We will move on to who's next. We'll buy some filler for Callie. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then Bull.
Yeah. All right. Hi. My name is Bull. I'm a turtle who calls on the powers of the swamp and the spores for my abilities. I enjoy red leaves, green leaves, brown leaves, grass, fish, and moss. Let me share something about myself more with you. I caught a big fish. Now I search for a good friend to share my lunch with. Thank you.
Fucking brilliant. Okay. And then I believe our last one is Mr. Pincup, Perry.
I am playing Peregrine Pinkup, a halfling illusionist. Peregrine stands just shy of 3 feet tall. He wears a deep purple Victorian-esque swallow-tailed coat. An elaborately decorated ascot tie fits snugly into his neck and disappears under his finely pressed collared shirt. His hair remains neatly tucked beneath the bowler's cap that he nearly always has on, and his face is cleanly shaven. Perry often finds tall things to sit on top of and can often be seen casting illusions like fireworks around himself to make himself appear grandiose. When he smiles, his perfectly aligned teeth glisten to match the sparkle of his very fancy, jewel-encrusted loafers.
That remain untarnished. Right. Perfect. So yeah, I cut in a little bit of audio back there that we'll fill with Callie's explanation if and when any it comes back. I guess this is... Can we cut the stream, actually? Goodbye, Internet.
Yeah, I can do that. Thanks. Boy.
Everybody hang out for just another few minutes while we cut the stream.